Buttigieg is one of the more rhetorically effective members of the Democratic Party, and he recently did an interview with Face the Nation where he just perfectly laid out the need to invest in electric vehicles, from how Trump failed us in that regard and all the way to what the outlook is and should be going forward, to kind of tackle some of the misinformation and narratives that Republicans try to spin to fearmonger about it, from auto workers getting pushed out of their job or swift bans on gas-powered vehicles. So I thought that would be an important segment to take a moment to look at.
Every single year, more Americans buy EVs than the year. Well, this is really important.
More quickly?
Every single year, more Americans buy EVs than the year prior. There are two things that I think are needed for that to happen even more quickly. One is the price, which is why the Inflation Reduction Act acted to cut the price of an electric vehicle. The second is making sure we have the charging network we need across America. But I want to talk about the bigger point here. And I take this very personally because I grew up in the industrial Midwest, literally in the shadow of broken down factories from car companies that did not survive into the turn of the century because they didn't keep up with the times.
And many of those auto workers are concerned that electric vehicles require fewer humans to manufacture.
The most important thing is that the EV revolution will happen with or without us, and we've got to make sure that it's American-led. And that's what the president is focused on. We don't want China. Look, under the Trump administration, they allowed China to build an advantage in the EV industry.
He is exactly right. Electric vehicle sales go up year over year in America as they become cheaper and more accessible and easier to manufacture as well. And as we get more charging stations around the country, it just becomes more practical for people to buy and own. But it's also trending this way globally, where it seems electric vehicles are certainly headed towards being a major global market in the years to come, of which, as he also said, Trump allowed China to get a major lead on us in the manufacturing and sales. And as a country that we already jockey for a position with economically and are on the losing end of plenty of sectors and markets like semiconductors, it's important to not let this slip away from us as well.
Under President Biden's leadership, we're making sure that the EV revolution will be a made in America EV revolution that
because
is
of these
critically
tariffs you're
important.
talking about that President Biden says he's going to roll
also
out.
Just making sure we invest in America's capacity, making sure that we are onshoring or friend-shoring the materials and the processing of what goes into these EVs, making sure that America masters these processes. Because look, there's no way that we're going to get to the middle of this century with the technology that we counted on a century ago. Now, there are obviously a lot of voices here in Washington who are interested in keeping the status quo.
He says it's going to be one of the first things he does.
Would be happy to see Americans trapped with dirty and expensive fuels.
Biden has now looked into, reviewed, and decided to keep all of Trump's tariffs on China. This is something Trump said that Biden would be weak on, by the way, as well as adding additional ones to stave off the reliance on the China market for electric vehicles. On top of that, the Inflation Reduction Act tried to tackle this problem in a multitude of ways. There were tax credits made available for owners of all types of electric vehicles, from new, used, and even commercial, to receive some of that money back that you spent buying it each year. Tax credits also for properties that have charging stations, that way in hopes to make them more accessible, and also for businesses who dedicate large portions of their facilities to the manufacturing of said electric vehicles. This alone moves us leaps and bounds forwards in ways that Trump just largely ignored, instead of keeping polluting the air with our dirty fumes from gas-powered vehicles and saying, you know, it'll be okay, every other country's doing it, why don't we just add to the problem, right? And it reminds me of the battle of changing and keeping technology and staying up with the times that cycles through history, and it seems that conservatives always try to fight off. From being against computers, remember when they said that those would ruin us, then it's mail-in voting, and now electric vehicles. If it was up to conservatives, it seems that we would be in a 19 or an 1850s America living off 1700s technology. If you enjoyed this video, we're Social Society. We're a commentary channel influenced by politics, society, and the economy. We are pretty left-leaning on this channel, but we're open to our right-wingers as well. The biggest thing here is having conversations that get everyone to the bottom of the truth. If that sounds like something that could interest you, consider smashing that subscribe button, leaving us a like, or even commenting on this video, because we even have memberships available as low as $3 if you'd like to support, because the only way we become a society is together.